Wanted to make you guys aware of a scam that is targeting musicians. I have been in IT for over 25 years, and I've seen every scam that you can imagine. I've even won the Nigerian Lottery multiple times. This one actually made it pretty far before it started setting off my spidey senses, so I'm going to show you how it works. So I was reached out to on TikTok by a user that said, "Hey, are you available to play banjo over a soundtrack?" I said it would largely depend on the key and whether one of my banjos could get there, but I'm willing to try. He said, "It's a 1 to 2 minute track we want to use for a small ad. I want you to play banjo over it. I can send the soundtrack over to your email so you can listen to it. Willing to pay $400 if that isn't stiff. Can you work remotely? Also, can you get it done in a week time or a couple of days?" I said, "Absolutely. Here's my email." He emailed over the track and I gave it a listen. Now, most scammers in the past have had atrocious grammar and they give me these little keywords like kind regards. This guy, he spoke very fluently and I'm sure AI is assisting them now. So this is what we have to be careful of. So he sent me this file. He said, "Here's the soundtrack. I love to have the banjo played all the way through it. One that gives a nice feel. You can just play 1 or 2 different takes and we can select the best of the lot. The tempo is 84. Listen and let me know what you think." So I listened to it. Pretty basic. I mean, it kind of sounds like it could be run for an ad. But I'm pretty sure they generated that very easily with AI. Nothing fancy about it. So I said, "Got it, thank you. I'll sit down with it tonight and see what I can come up with and let you know." Now, $400 for this project isn't unthinkable. Like, I was just paid $400 for a different project. This seemed like a pretty easy grab, but it wasn't the too good to be true kind of feeling that a scam usually will give me. He said, "That sounds good, thank you." So I sat down with it, and in about an hour I came up with my own take, and I recorded kind of a rough version of it. Nothing major. Normally I'll give me half up front and give me half when the project's complete. But this was such an easy, low-hanging fruit that I thought, I'll go and throw a little bit of time at it and take a chance. So I sent him back my piece, and he said, "Wow, that was an amazing piece. I love what you did with it. You're a very talented banjo player. I love how you played around with it, kept it simple, gave it a very nice feel. That was super impressive. I think it suits the energy we're trying to project on the track, especially for an ad. I like the repetitiveness of it as well." It seemed like a fairly reasonable assessment of the music that I put on there, though looking back at it, it does feel a little generic, but totally fooled me. He said, "You can go ahead and have it recorded. Please just send me the banjo tracks without the soundtrack so my sound engineer can work on mixing and mastering. Once you are done recording, please keep me posted." I said, "Awesome, that's so good to hear. I'll just get the banjo recorded and sent hopefully in the next 24 hours. I imagine I'll have some time after work tomorrow to lay it down and finalize it. Can you check with your engineer and ask what file format and bitrate they prefer working with, and I'll export it to your preference." He said you can have the files exported in WAV format. Regarding the bitrate, we can work with 48 kilohertz. I'll be expecting the tracks later. I said, "Thank you. I'll have time scheduled at 5 p.m. Pacific to work on it. I'll have it ready shortly after if all goes predictably." I sent him the master file and said, "Okay, I got it recorded to around -6 decibels. Here's the WAV file at 48 kilohertz. I also attached a click reference MP3 track you can give your sound person to make it easy to see exactly where I lined up my beats if it simplifies things on their end." He said, "Thank you so much for having the banjo track sent over. I forwarded it to my sound engineer. He said he could work with it. So I should have the final track sent to you by the end of the week for listening. Regarding your payment, I would like to arrange for a transfer from our business checking account. It's a check. I'll just need your name so we can process your payment. You can deposit the check via your bank's mobile app by scanning it using the deposit option. Which banking institution are you with?" This was the first yellow flag that popped up. Every scam that I've seen that pulls this particular scam that I'm about to explain always asks for the banking information. I think they print it somewhere on the check to make it look like more legit. I sat down with my girlfriend that night and I was like, I think I'm about 5% convinced that this guy is going to scam me by offering to pay me more than the $400 and then ask me to send the money back to him. But I went with it. I said, "Excellent, I'll look forward to hearing it." He said, "Thank you for your professionalism through the process. It's been quite an amazing experience working with you on this project. Looking forward to working with you again on future projects." Again, nothing about this seems like entirely out of the ordinary. with the people that I've worked with. Very professional, fairly articulate anyway. And I waited for a little bit. Then I got the confirmation that I had been dreading. Hi, Attillion. There was a little issue with the payment we intended to send you, and I sincerely apologize for the delay. There was an error with the check amount. My assistant mistakenly requested a check for $4,000 instead of the agreed upon $400. And our account manager has already processed the check for this amount, which I've been trying to sort out all day. In attempting to rectify this, we learned from our bank that canceling now would mean we cannot issue another check from the account for 90 days due to their policies, and we do not want this to happen. There's an account from which we all earn, and blah, 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 blah. After consulting with the bank, they suggested we proceed by sending you the check for $4,000 if you're a trusted client, and I hope I can trust you. We're hopeful this will work out smoothly. I can just send you the check for $4,000. You can deposit it, take your full payment out of it, and then just find a way to send the rest back to my manager to put the money back in the account. I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciate your understanding. Shall send it over to you. At this point, 100% this is a scam, and that's what they do. They give you a check for more than the amount. He was going to send me a $4,000 check for a $400 payment. He wants me to send $3,600 back to him and keep the $400. I said, yes, you can trust me. Certainly send it over. What's going to happen with this check that he sends me, which is kind of badly photoshopped when you look at it, in about 2 to 3 weeks, my bank is going to call me up and say, hey man, this $4,000 check bounced. You owe us some money. I will have already sent that $3,600 to some scammer in another country, and they would have had my money. So there it is. That's the scam. What's important to note here is how good they're getting at it. This is absolutely AI assisted. Anybody who doesn't even speak English can get an AI translator to write a professional sounding email and communicate effectively, even generate music tracks that like they literally had a music track. You just go to Sumo and get your own little music. So you got to watch out for this stuff. Don't fall for this. Always get half your payment up front, or at least a deposit, before you start sinking your time into it. I lost maybe 2 hours of my life doing this, and now I get to make a video about it to help teach other people. So I'm really not that bent out of shape about it, but I feel so bad for people who actually fall for it and they send money to these people and it just teaches them to keep doing it. How absolutely low do you have to be to try and lie and scam and cheat money out of people? These are the most disgusting human beings that you will ever meet. And I guess if you're here listening to this, you probably follow me, and that means you're a pretty cool human being. So I appreciate you guys being here. Don't fall for scams. And keep playing that music. You guys are awesome.